Okay, sorry everyone, I've just had to move some screens around. Yes, I think you'll all notice from the agenda that the first speaker today is actually me. So, yeah, apologies for that. You're going to be sick of hearing my voice by the end of today. But the first talk is something that I've been quite passionate about, and I wanted to, if it's okay with you guys, just do the first talk today. So, on that note, in our last webinar, we explored guidance on generative AI. So what's working, what isn't, and where the gaps still are. Thank you to all of you for joining us. And personally, I found the event really interesting, hearing what everyone's doing. And during the event and afterwards, the discussions really made me think that actually we've spent a lot of time creating policies, frameworks, and a lot of time on guidance. But I think we've all been so busy doing this, it's easy to forget why we do that. Um, why should why should students and staff be trying to improve their AI literacy? Why should they engage with the guidance that we're creating? Because if people don't see the relevance to their studies, to their teaching, or to their future careers, even the best guidance, it just won't make a difference because people won't engage with it. They won't invest their valuable time in something if they don't see the relevance to themselves. So in this session, I want to take a step back and to talk about why I think AI literacy is important for everyone. Are the slides moving through okay, Steve? Great. So here's what we'll cover today. First, we'll look at what AI literacy actually means, both in practical terms and why it matters. We'll then look at how our sector has responded so far, and I'll talk about how we might be able to balance the risks of AI along with the opportunities. And finally, we'll explore how we can build AI literacy, both with staff and students, so we're developing capability and confidence for everyone. So when I talk about AI literacy, what I'm thinking about are essentially three things: awareness, judgment, and confidence, as you can see on the screen here. And I'll just go briefly into each of these now. Awareness is about understanding what AI can do, and just as importantly, what it can't do. Now, I'm not saying that we all need to be experts in how the models are actually built, but we do need to be aware of what it can and can't do in our own disciplines. Judgment is about making responsible and ethical choices. So knowing when and how it's appropriate to use AI and when it actually might undermine the purpose of the task at hand. And confidence is about critically engaging and critically and creatively engaging with AI rather than avoiding it altogether. It's the difference between feeling threatened by it and just ignoring it, um, or being able to work with them confidently. But the next question, of course, is why should we care? So to answer that question, I think we need to look briefly at the sector. So what's happening beyond higher education across policy, skills, and the job market. So why should I care about AI literacy? The short answer, as we've only got 10 minutes today, is because AI now sits right at the heart of the UK skills and growth agenda. The government's national AI strategy and its pro-innovation approach to regulation position AI as a key driver of productivity and job creation. And the numbers back that up. The Office for National Statistics report that around a quarter of UK businesses are already using AI, up sharply from just a couple of years ago. And I suspect that if you looked at this again since this data was published, it would have gone up again already. Skills England now list AI and data amongst the core skills for growth across most priority sectors, not just the tech sector, but also health, finance, manufacturing, and the creative industries. Even roles that don't require coding, and there are quite a lot of them, the employers still expect graduates to be able to use AI both intelligently and responsibly. Now, that's a huge opportunity, but it also brings responsibility because these national ambitions depend on us in higher education to be able to produce graduates with the awareness, the judgment, and the confidence to be able to work effectively with AI. So our sector's response so far, I think it's fair to say that most of higher education's early responses to AI has focused on restriction. Now, that's obviously understandable because we've needed to protect academic integrity, fairness, and trust. We've had to think carefully about issues like data, ethics, and privacy. Now, that's all very important work because it's helping us to establish the guardrails that we just need to have in place. But if we stop there, we risk creating this defensive culture. So, one that treats AI purely as a threat to be controlled rather than a capability to be developed. Now, a risk-based approach might help protect us today, but it won't help prepare our graduates for tomorrow. So the challenge, as I see it, is balance. So making sure that we can protect academic integrity while still moving forward. We can't just focus on restriction, and importantly, we can't ignore it either. Now, restriction, as I said on the previous slide, is what gives us those guardrails that we need to have in place. Excuse me. It protects fairness, it protects quality and trust. But readiness is what gives us that capability. So helping students and staff build the confidence to be able to use AI responsibly and effectively. Integrity and ethics will always matter, of course they will, but they work best when paired with the ability to use AI thoughtfully and creatively. Now, the universities that will thrive are ones that find that balance. So safe, ethical, and forward-looking. So here's what this looks like in practice at the University of Kent. What we've done to start building AI literacy for both staff and students at Kent. So on the student side, we have completely refreshed our AI web pages. Engagement with the old pages was actually low, and this was a hard pill to swallow. We looked at the analytics, and over the course of, I think, 4 months, we'd had around 800 views. So something clearly wasn't right. So we have completely refreshed it. We've updated it, we've expanded it, we've included things like prompt banks. And so far, since relaunching the new pages in October, engagement with these pages has increased massively from around 800 views over a few months to 8,400 views over the past month alone. Now, this is a big improvement and we're really happy with that, but we're not sitting on our laurels here. We want to continue to adapt and monitor and review these pages to make sure that students and staff feel that they can come back to these pages when they need to, and it will reflect kind of how things currently are. Alongside the web pages, we have also recently launched a new AI literacy module for all of our students with help from colleagues from across the university. This has been a huge piece of work trying to get this up and running for the start of term, and a massive thank you to everyone involved. You know who you are. It's been a huge task trying to get this module ready, and we have managed to do it, which has been just fantastic. And we hope that this module is giving students a structured, reflective space to explore how AI relates to both their studies, but also, importantly, their future careers. Alongside all of this work, this year we have rebuilt all of our Moodle modules using a single university Moodle module template. Now, this template includes a new assignment brief section, and within that assignment brief now explicitly mentions how AI can be used on a module level, making it clear to students how and where AI can be used responsibly on their work on that module. And again, that's absolutely key. So we're really kind of pleased that that everyone across the university, all of the academic staff, it's been a huge piece of work to get this up and running, but it's something we've been able to do. So thank you to everyone involved. On the staff side, we have increased direct support with the inclusion of a new AI and education specialist role. A big shout out to Oliver, who is joining us today. Oliver has been brought in and he's been working to help get the guidance pages, which we've been trying to get up and running for a while now. And Oliver's been able to help us get that up and running, but also importantly, reaching out to schools, to staff, to speak to them, to arrange meetings, to offer training sessions. So we have that point of contact. So I really hope that that is making a real difference there. We are also, we have actually, I think today, released our new SharePoint guidance for all staff. So this has been updated and expanded to include role-based guidance. So rather than the just generic guidance or guidance for teachers, it now includes a number of different roles. So conveners, managers, research, all of these areas are kind of all built into that now. Alongside this as well, we're also bringing in new CPD opportunities for staff with the inclusion of some new AI and data apprenticeships for our staff. We're in the process of getting the first cohorts off the ground. So again, exciting times. But essentially all of this work, so the web pages, the module, the training, it's not just about awareness or compliance. It's important, but it's not all about that. It's about preparing students and staff for the world that they're stepping into. Now, all of this links directly to employability, as we talked about on a previous slide, because ultimately AI literacy is not just a digital skill, it's a way of thinking that aligns perfectly with what universities do best and have always done best, developing critical thinkers who combine knowledge, judgment, and ethics. Now, employers, they're not just asking whether graduates can use AI. What they're asking is whether they can use it well, to be able to question results, to recognize bias, and to be able to apply it in their field responsibly. And that's the key. So this isn't just restricted to certain subjects like computing, sciences, or business schools. This is applying to all sectors, all schools across university. So AI literacy is not just that optional extra, it's becoming part of what it means to be a capable, employable graduate in any discipline. And that's why helping students and staff to build these skills matters so much. Now, I wanted to include this slide. As a parent, I often find myself thinking about the kind of education I'd like for my own children. Now, if they were choosing university in 10 years' time, I'd like them to go somewhere that teaches them how to use AI well, not to fear it, not to avoid it, and certainly not to over-rely on it either. And that's where the question for all of us in higher education, I think, lies at the moment. Where would you want your children to go? To a university that avoids AI altogether? Some may say yes. Or to one that helps students to build awareness, judgment, and confidence to use it responsibly. Because ultimately, AI literacy, it's not just about the technology itself, it's about preparing people to think critically, act responsibility, and stay in control of the tools that will shape their world. Now, we don't know what things are going to look like in 3 to 5 years' time, but I guarantee that the skills that we're trying to teach people now will be applicable in the tools that we will be using in 5 to 10 years' time. So I think that's why we need to keep continuing to shape that with AI literacy. So to wrap things up, I think we're on time. This is what AI literacy really comes down to, certainly as I see it. At its heart, it's about helping people learn, think, and work well in a world where AI is already part of everyday life. So as we move through the talks today, through today's session, I'd encourage us to keep asking a few key questions. How do we embed AI literacy in every discipline? Not just the computing or the business or the sciences, across the board. And how do we combine integrity and innovation in the way that we assess learning? Now, that's a difficult one to ask, but we are in a kind of a really good position here today that we have so many people on the call that are all you're all doing things, you're all kind of working in all these different sectors and fields, so we can all share practice. And I think that really helps to kind of build that picture. And finally, how do we prepare graduates not just to cope with AI, but to lead in an AI-enabled world? So that is me. So I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for kind of putting up with me for the first talk, but it was just something I wanted to talk with.